Right, you lot. We might not want to, but let's talk Villa. Yes, as I am sure you guys are all aware, there'll be no in-game footage or footage from me at Villa Park. I didn't take a single photo or video whilst I was there yesterday because it was just terrible. But we did lose 3-1 to Chelsea in our FA Cup fourth round replay. We played terribly, awful game. The players looked they couldn't even be arsed, which we're going to get into that a little bit later. But let's flash up the lineup on the screen. We went with our strongest lineup. That is our strongest lineup, hands down. And they all look like they just had a day off. Maybe Unai gave them the Wednesday off. I'm not even sure. In goal, Emi Martinez, 5, let in 3 goals. Couldn't really be, said that he's at fault for any of the goals, but there we go. In terms of the back four, Matty Cash -10. I'm honestly sick of watching this man play football. I've never seen. I said to my missus who I was there with, I literally turned around to her at one point and I said, it's like he's afraid of playing football. And he's a professional footballer and he looks scared. Every time he gets the ball, it's just instantly he wants to turn around. The amount of times from goal kicks and stuff that Martinez, or even if Martinez just caught the ball, he'd be looking left and right. And Matty Cash would just literally be walking back to Martinez, shaking his head. And Martinez was getting angry. You could see he was like, oh, what are you doing? Anyway, he gets a -10. I never want to see him play football again. I'm honestly so sick of that Cruyff turn merchant. In terms of centre-backs, Diego Carlos, 2. I thought he looked petulant at times. He got a silly booking. He was just grabbing people. The amount of misplaced long passes that he done. Him and Douglas Luiz had an argument halfway through the second half. Embarrassing. Longley, 3. Again, just couldn't handle it. We didn't catch Chelsea offside once yesterday. Caught them offside 0 times. And every time they got a ball through, our defence just couldn't deal with it. Alex Moreno, 3. At least he was trying to get forward and be a bit progressive with the ball. Nearly scored a decent header. But again, we were mainly getting rinsed down the side of Matty Cash and Diego Carlos. Jesus Christ. Those two together on defending down that right-hand side. I think every time Chelsea played a ball over the top, Nicholas Jackson was in. And we just couldn't do anything about it. Chilwell was rinsing Cash as well. Anyway, let's move on from that. John McGinn, 4. Misplaced passes. Yes, he runs until the last second that he has taken off of that pitch. And he was trying to, G the players up every time we conceded, which isn't fantastic, having to do that as a captain. But yeah, just looked miles off it as well. Douglas Luiz, I'd give a 1 to. Misplacing so many passes. Again, looking petulant, arguing, getting up in the... I don't know what's happened. Ever since he's been back with Alicia Lehmann, he looks angry on the pitch. And he looks like he can't be arsed. He definitely looked like he couldn't be arsed yesterday. Again, arguing with our players, arguing with the ref, arguing with their players, misplacing passes, not running, not tracking back. Bad performance. Kamara, 1. Exactly the same as Douglas Luiz, except he didn't look angry with people, effectively. Since the birth of his child, which, fair enough, it's a big thing. He just looked tired, and I feel like he just needs a rest. He was not good yesterday in the slightest. He gave the ball away maybe more than anyone else. And then on the right, Leon Bailey, 3. He did run at the Chelsea defence, but he just honestly looked petrified to shoot yesterday. He got in a shooting position so many times, then he'd just try an extra pass, and it wouldn't work. And then we're back to square one. Wasn't taking on players with the same freedom he has been recently. They doubled up on him. Every time he got the ball, it was Chilwell, Jackson, or Caicedo would come over and double up on him. So they know he's a threat, and they've doubled up on him, and it's worked. They pressed him straight away. Couldn't get anything going. And then up front, Ollie Watkins, 2. He runs. His first touch is still terrible. And in a game like this, he's just absolutely played out of it. And then Telemans, misplacing passes. What more can you say than that, really? But I would actually give him a 4 and make him one of the higher rated players on the pitch, purely because he was probably the only one out of our whole team pressing and sprinting and closing the ball down and trying to get the other players to do it. And they just wouldn't. And then the subs, yep, Diaby got a goal. Fantastic news in the 91st minute when you're 3-0 down. 5s for all of them, man. So there you have the match stats as we get into my thoughts and opinions on this game. As you can see, outdone us in shots, doubled our shots on target, beat us in possession at home. Embarrassing, they're 11th in the league. I don't care if they're Chelsea or not. More passes than us, better pass accuracy, more corners, no offsides. for a team that's renowned this season for playing a good offside trap and high line. There you go. Moving on, this is just a quote from Emery that I thought I'd throw up here because I think it's just a bit pathetic. He said, "We competed well, we were excited and motivated, we were feeling good, but when they got in the box or broke the press, they were clinical as well, they deserved to win. The second half we tried to be more strong, but we lost more balls than normal." We didn't compete well yesterday. We didn't compete well in the slightest. It was probably one of the more embarrassing Villa performances that I can think of in recent memory. And I've always said that we're a bit of a bipolar team in the sense of we'll go and look good one week and then terrible the next week. But this was just a repeat of Newcastle. And if any Chelsea fans watching this, absolutely fair play. Your fans were brilliant. Your fans were fantastic. Out singing Villa the whole way through. The section I was in just didn't even bother singing at all. I was the only one there trying. Next time I'm going in the whole end. But anyway, they were fantastic and their players were fantastic. They clearly saw what Newcastle done to us in the Premier League and they just replicated it. High press, doubled up on our important players, literally not giving us a sniff on the ball, and then forcing us into mistakes, and we couldn't deal with it. It was boys versus men. Absolute boys versus men. An embarrassing performance. And I literally remember thinking to myself, maybe because it's the FA Cup, I don't know, the players can't be arsed. They had a day off. If you're not going to bother in the cups and you want to just focus on the league, why did Emery do that massive passionate speech about being consistent everywhere? Since that Arsenal game, we have been anything but consistent. We've probably been one of the most least consistent teams I can remember, in a sense of we look so good one week and so bad the next week. This is a Chelsea team coming off a 4-2 loss against Wolves. Turmoil in the club. Players apparently wanting to leave. The manager on the brink of being sacked. And they've gone and dominated us. A top 4 team. And we're going to have a video coming out soon about if we can get top 4 or not, considering what's happened in January and our injuries, etc. But that back 4 was terrible today. Or yesterday. Terrible. They cannot play together again. I don't know what we're going to do. I'm hoping Powell's back for the United game. If we have that back 4 for the United game, we are losing again, our 3rd game in a row at Villa Park. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Kamara and Luiz seemed complacent. Oh, it was bad. It was bad. We weren't winning any second balls, getting outrun, no energy in the team, no cohesion. All the players were arguing. One of our, fantastic Austin McPhee set-piece corners was just John McGinn passing it to Chelsea on the 18-yard box, and they had a counter-attack, a fast break. Noni Madueke, for me, was fantastic as well yesterday. He was rinsing us the whole game. Nicholas Jackson, rinsing us the whole game. Our fullbacks looked miles off of it. And like I say, fair enough, I only had to pay 25 quid to go. I want my money back. They didn't even bother. They weren't trying. The players were not trying yesterday. I don't care. Yes, Emery could have made subs earlier on in the game. Yes, maybe it's his game plan. But we've beaten Chelsea once this season. We drew to them at Stamford Bridge. That is on the players yesterday. They looked like they honestly could not care less about that game. Literally, like they couldn't care less. Like they were just there to ride the game out, save energy by not running, and just get back and go on to the Premier League. But I tell you what, if we play like that against a United team who are now firing on all cylinders and look hungry, with the likes of Garnacho and Højlund up front, we're getting smacked 4-5-0 at Villa Park by them on Sunday. I'm scared for that game now, and you'll see it in my match preview. I don't think we're going to win that game. We've looked terrible. I don't understand. Even when the crowd were trying to get behind the players, there was no reaction, no response whatever. Embarrassing performance. We look like, again, a team, and I've said it in my previous videos, we look like a team who's going to finish mid-table. Chelsea are the mid-table team in that game. We're like 13, 14 points above Chelsea. You wouldn't have thought it, would you? Look, let's look at the positives, which is it's only the FA Cup. Only, I say. Probably our only chance of silverware left apart from the Conference League. But at least not the Premier League. At least we're still top 4 and we're still above Spurs with the chance to go and even further the gap between us and 6th, because West Ham have Arsenal and we have Man United. But that was embarrassing. Those players didn't look like they could be arsed. Literally couldn't care less. Especially, and I'm singling him out, Matty Cash was awful. The side where I was sitting, I got to see a lot of him. And it was in the first half, he was just head down, shaking his head, walking. You know what I mean? Didn't want to do anything. I don't know how we fix it in terms of our defence. Hopefully, like I say, Pau Torres is back. I'd honestly start Kane Kessler-Hayden over Matty Cash at this point. He just does not deserve the shirt on his back. And I think our centre mids need a bit of a shake-up as well, because we got absolutely outworked, overrun. Embarrassing. Let me know what you guys thought down in the comments below. It's my last game for a while due to becoming a dad soon. And I'm not even that mad about it, you know what I mean? That is embarrassing. But we always follow. We'll be back for the United game. Hopefully, Emery can actually drill into those boys. And hopefully that is just a front in his press conference, because that is awful from him. But let's try and go and get a win against United on Sunday, rather. Right all the wrongs and get back on track. But it's hard to say anything good about that performance, apart from it was embarrassing. But be nice to everyone, man. I'll see you guys soon.